Alright guys, so this is actually more like a week after where we left off. It's actually after Christmas now, so you're actually in a new camera. You're on the iPhone 6 now. And I've gone ahead and went through and gotten all the electrical in basically through the middle. I still have to hook up the rear brake switch and figure out the tail section and finish figuring out the front section. But what we're going to go ahead and do now is for the front turn signals on this, I've gone ahead and pulled off the rear turn signals off of the Chinese dirt bike. These are pretty good turn signal fixtures, and they're actually intended for dual sport purposes. So I'm going to go ahead and throw these on. I'm just going to mount them for now, and then we'll figure out the wiring a little bit later. Make sure that that's the same angle this way as the front headlight. Pretty good gauge to go off of. These are DOT legal approved lights, so I don't have to worry about that when I go in for my inspection next month. So I'm just lining up with this one, and I'm lining up off of the headlight as far as the angle this way before I tighten them down. It's not too crucial as long as it's more for an aesthetic. I mean, this versus this, you're still gonna see the light from the signal if you're in another vehicle. So it's more just for my own OCD. I'm also going to be putting in my auxiliary power socket, which is going to be mounted somewhere on the handlebars. But while I'm diving into the electrical on the front of this, I'm going to go ahead and wire it in at this point. I'm not going to mount it necessarily, but I'm going to hook up the wiring for it so that when I go to mount it later, that's going to be taken care of and I won't have to take the front apart again. Alright, so now I need to figure out which are the turn signal wires.
Yeah.
No, the orange and the white ones are the brake lights.
Yeah, okay. Is this? Wait. Is this it? Oh, no, it's a white stripe.
Nope. Here's solid black.
Yep.
So these two.
I choose solid black. You what?
Choose it?
What do you mean choose it? I want solid black.
You want it?
Yeah. That looks like it.
Can't have it.
Wait,
it's mine.
No, it's mine.
Stop.
I have solid black.
I need to untangle these somewhat.
Yeah. I have solid black.
There's a lot of hands in here.
Not mine. Hand. Mine. Are those for a light?
That is for the right turn signal.
Okay. So we know that the green wire leads to the right turn signal.
Light green one does?
Yeah, the light green. But the dark green, no.
There is no dark green.
Well, the green is what I meant.
So I have a dark green one on the light itself.
Yeah.
We could connect that one to the light green, so it'll be green to green.
Yep. And that will power the right signal. Hopefully. That's our goal. Hypothesis.
Yeah. This is just a quick test connection.
Yep. So we're connecting both wires to...
Oh, what did I do? I just did the opposite of what I said.
Green is right.
I don't know if this is going to make a connection or not.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
I don't know if that's long enough. You have to strip back more of that housing.
Okay.
That should make connection. Ha!
Yes!
Perfect! Yes!
Man, it sure helps to have the wiring diagram. That's what I'm gonna do.
Oh, it's making noise,
What?
but it's not lighting up. The other one is though.
Alright, let's,
So maybe we did the wrong.
it just had a
Oh,
bad
now it is.
connection.
There it is.
Wasn't making connection.
This is
Okay, switch it.
success.
Switch
Now
it the other way.
I
All the way across.
Oh.
There's it's a three-way switch. The middle is off, and then the right and left are on for the right and left signal.
Should I do the other one again?
Yeah, switch it
Okay,
back.
So we just need something to hold those together.
Oh wait, go a bit. I just noticed that the dash light is working too.
What is?
See, look at the dash where see up here where the green light is by my elbow. The dash where the speedo
Oh.
is.
Yeah.
Okay, switch it. I want to see if it works on the other side.
Yep.
Cool. So my signal indicator is working as well.
I want to see
Should I turn it off?
See it
Okay,
flashing, Maddie?
We just need something to hold those
Should
together.
I turn it off?
Yeah, well, I gotta connect this up the right way. This is just for testing. But we know what wires there are and that it works.
So
Yay,
you made all of this.
So what are
No,
these, Daddy?
Not on this bike.
Daddy?
I made all of this on
Daddy?
my Chinese dirt bike.
Daddy?
That's why I know
Daddy?
on this
What's
one,
that?
because it's the same
But I
thing.
mean, like you
What's
put
this?
Those are fuses.
I mean, like you put all of this stuff and like built.
Once
the
again,
bike.
a success.
You could say I rebuilt the bike. Because I took it all apart and now I'm putting it all back together and putting it together right.
Was it not built right?
Alright, well, thanks to my kids, which you saw earlier, helped me work on the bike and figure out the turn signals. So we got that figured out. I'm just going to kind of run over the wiring system, maybe what you haven't seen yet in the footage, and then I think we're going to wrap this video up. Even though the electrical is not done, this is stringing on a little bit long over the days, so it's a lot of repeat business. I have extra wires that I found that I tried to figure out if it was going to be a viable power source for my 12-volt outlet, but it's not going to work for that, so I'm going to have to tap into another system. But there's plenty of videos out there on how to do that. I just kind of wanted to give a brief overview on how to tackle electrical, how to not be afraid of it. If you just break it down a little bit at a time, before you know it, you're done, and it's not that big of a deal, especially on a bike like this. It doesn't have electrical start. It doesn't have really too many advanced systems on it. Basic lighting, basic ignition, and it's simple, so nothing to be afraid of. But so that's how the front is turning out. You may have seen also when I was testing these are just tested connections. I'm going to definitely wire it up better than that for the connections, and then everything is routed. All wiring is routed. You can see some of this is a little exposed, but it is secured and tucked up out of the way. I still need to hook up my horn yet. I'm in keeping with the same fashion of scavenging off of that Chinese dirt bike. I'm not going to be able to use that as a street legal bike, at least not for right now. So it's got brand new equipment on it, which is good stuff. Instead of going out and buying more new stuff, and I can't use that anyways, I'm just going to be pulling stuff off of there like I did with the turn signals. Those are great turn signals, and they'll work perfectly on here. I'm also going to pull off the horn, which is a brand new horn, off of the Chinese dirt bike, put it over here. I don't have it over here available yet, but I have a brand new LED tail light that I'm going to put back here. It is all-in-one integrated unit. It's going to be a little thin, low profile light that's going to tuck up under this bar. It has turn signals in it. It has the license plate light and a license plate bracket underneath of it, as well as the tail and stoplight. It's going to all be one. Like I said, it's low profile. You can see here the cutout for the original tail light. I'm just going to be putting a piece of sheet metal in there to fill that gap, and then I'm going to rivet it around the edges, and that's actually what the new tail light is going to mount to. So I may show that, I may not, I don't know. I probably will, because it's not just electrical work for that, it's installing a new piece of equipment, so I may showcase that, but I'm going to go ahead and wrap up on this video. Just because it's going to be a lot of editing as it is. So let me break it down real quick. So up here, ignition switch, that's easy, simple enough, it plugs in. Same with the instrument cluster, this is where the ignition switch goes. I need to pull this housing off and repaint this before I go ahead and mount it up and everything. Here's the speedometer cable, it goes into the bottom of that. I did go inside of this thing and cleaned it out. It actually looks like it's in pretty good working condition. Oiled up some of the clockworks inside there as well. Yeah, so these are to the front brake switch once I get that installed, and then the rest of these wires that are hanging out are to the turn signals, and that's all I have to do for that. And then I can throw on the front guard there. Going back, like I said, still need to install and hook up the horn, and that'll be done. This goes down to the rear brake switch. I need to get a new connector. It did come off of that, and then that'll be done. Rear brake switch is installed. This is to that power unit. And then coming back in here, this is the turn signal module. This is actually pulled off of the Chinese dirt bike as well. They had the exact same one on here already. I didn't even want to try to use it. The inside casing was full of rusty dirt stuff, so that seal was compromised at some point and had gotten moisture inside. So I just pulled this one off of the other bike. This is a ground wire. I'm not sure what that goes to. Something to do with probably the original turn signal module. So I'm going to tuck that somewhere inside here. Yeah, this is all hooked up. These are the ignition wires right here, going up to the coil, coming from the CDI box. This battery I think is going to work. There's only 2 fuses on here, which is nice. Like I said, it's a really simple system. These are the license plate wires, license plate light wires. I'm not going to be needing those. As I said, the license plate light is integrated into the new unit I have. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I could just use these, run these up front to pull power for my, because I don't want to add to. I don't want to have some extra auxiliary wires going straight to the battery or anything. I want to use something that's integrated in the system. So since I'm going to be eliminating these, maybe I'll just reutilize these for my 12-volt power. And maybe actually I won't mount the outlet to the handlebars. I could just as easily mount it somewhere down in here or something like that. I don't know, let's test connections on a wiring system. Use the DC volts to see what wires are your hot wires. Like in the example of this, the black with the white stripe is the ground, constant ground, and then the brown wire is the constant power supply for the tail light, and the white with black stripe is the brake switch light. And the way you would test that with a multimeter is, you can kind of trace off of other wires and everything, and use the example off of other wires. All the ground wires on this bike are black with a white stripe, so I automatically know that that's a ground wire. And then testing, this wire was hot, so I know that that's my tail light, because your tail light's on all the time when the bike's on, or when the key's on. And then just through process of elimination, holding the tester on this and the ground, and then flipping the brake switch, I could tell that would come on. So, and then same with turn signal wires. If you didn't have the wiring diagram, just test the ground and to these, and then flip the turn signal switch. Flip all the switches. There's only going to be certain wires in certain parts of the bike for certain reasons, and you can kind of process of elimination by that way too. I don't know if that makes any sense to any of you, but that's what it is. It is what it is. Alright, we are really going to end this video now. Next, I don't know what we're going to do next. All that's really left after the electrical is refurbishing the seat and refurbishing the gas tank. I got to do the front brake yet too. So yeah, the list is getting shorter, but there's still a lot to do. The foot pegs too. I got to kind of rebuild the foot pegs. So yeah. All right, take care, guys. Talk to you later. Bye. Oops.